realign myself with what was really valuable to me. And so as a young child, having to overcome that self-esteem, having to learn to be really happy with me and who I was from the inside out, I decided, if I guess after about 2 years, that's really where it came about. After 2 years of taking time off, and I'm riding my bicycle up and down the green belt here in Scottsdale, Arizona, I decided, I am starting to feel like I have a little bit more energy back for life again. I want to do something, but if I'm going to do something, it has to be something that means something. It can't just be, let me go start another business for the fact of I'll go make some more money because, they'll be active. So I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said, I know how to overcome a poor self-esteem. I know how to take that poor self-esteem and realign myself to the point of being unstoppable in life. And I'm going to take my 35 years of experience, and I'm going to write a book called Mastering a Healthy Self-Image that really teaches a step-by-step guideline of how do you become an unstoppable force in life. And so I said, that's what I'm going to do. That's what's going to give me the feeling that I'm doing something that really means something. Because I saw so many young people. I see a lot of people every day. I'm a people watcher. I really love to sometimes just go to the mall or go to a park and just watch people's habit patterns. And I saw so many people that you can tell by the way they carry themselves as they walk, the way they talk to their friends, and people don't look each other in the eye because they don't have the self-esteem to make that deep connection with that other person. They're afraid, so to speak, that they aren't good enough to make the connection with other people, and that people aren't going to like them as much as they would hope they would. And so I just was so compelled. I need to become, so to speak, a messenger of you can have great self-esteem. You can really be happy and feel good about yourself. And I decided I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend the rest of my life teaching the world how they make that happen for themselves.
So tell us some tips. What are some tips that you provide in your book or your seminars that we could share with the listeners today?
Well, a lot of people have asked me for years, being 24 years old and starting a company that, within just a few years, your products are in every retail store in the country. A lot of people would say to me, how as a young kid, so to speak, did you get to be that successful? What was that magic? And I always used to look at it and say, it actually was more simple than what might be magical. It was the discipline of that I did learn the steps that were necessary, and I just took those steps. But so a lot of people, if they feel like there's no magic in it, that there's without that magic, then it's not as effective. And I like to say, and I'm not a sports person, but sports people forever have always said it's learning the basics and becoming absolutely the greatest at the basics is what really takes you to the top. And so it's the same in building a healthy self-image and a healthy self-esteem and becoming unstoppable. I literally say that one of the very first steps that you have to do is, number one, you have to set for a little period of time and make a decision. What is it that makes my life passionate? or would make my life passionate. And so the number one thing you have to do is you have to make a decision of what it is that would make you so excited that you are willing to do the work that's necessary to change your life.
Right.
Once you've made that decision, then the rest of it is the journey to get, down the road to be achieving the things that you've decided that you want to achieve. But I believe,
and I get this as a therapist almost on a daily basis when I'm seeing clients or talking to them over the phone, that people say, that's great, Darrell. I have no idea, especially when we've gone so long with not knowing what our passion is. Oftentimes we're told who to be by whoever raised us or the television or our friends or a pleasing family or whatever it might be. But how do I even know what my passion is? How did you find that in your self-esteem, considering, you came from a space where you're getting picked on, you didn't have a lot of finances to get you through to your next level. How did you figure out what your passion and purpose was? What worked for you?
Well, I grew up in a family that my mother had every one of us start playing the piano at 8 years of age. So early on, I thought that music was my passion. I became very good at playing the piano. I became very good at playing a variety of instruments, and I did, in fact, go to college and major in music. And so I was absolutely sure that that was going to be the passion that I would follow through on. And but what I believe has really helped me build passion and excitement for everything I've done, because as you know, I've taken 5 totally different companies that were in totally different industries, national and international. So how do you build passion for 5 different things? Because everybody will say, this must be the only passion in life that I have because I like music, and so. But I have found that the way to build passion is once you say, you know what, I want to become a jewelry maker. I want to become a chef. I want to become a newspaper person, be it a reporter or, you start out delivering newspapers when you're younger, at least I did when I was young. But, if you sit and think about what do you like to do in your off time, so to speak, not rather than, let's say that you're working at the mall and you're a salesperson at Dillard's, as an example, and that's not what you're passionate about. But you have a hobby, or you have friends that you all like to get together and do something outside of that job. Well, then that, if you really take time to become an expert in whatever it is, you start to really build passion in it, because now you start believing in yourself. I really know this area. So yes, it does take a little self-reflection, and I hear you say that people will say, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. But I'm of the belief that if somebody will take 30 minutes, sit in a dark room, and literally just daydream, they can daydream up more things that they could start building passion for than they'll have time to build. So I realize that people might say, well, I don't have anything I'm passionate about, but I don't believe that to be true. They do, they just don't have confidence that they could make money doing it. And they just have to learn to think and be a little more creative.
Right. And certainly, I don't know if you're comfortable in sharing with the listeners how much you've actually made, but from 5 different kind of companies you said, you've certainly done very, very well financially, because you became the expert of understanding and becoming passionate